So I thought that I would post here and see if I could help you guys out a little bit. All right. So today we're going to tune your brain a little bit. Problem that most of you guys have when it comes to making music is you keep thinking that you need something new, something else. That new thing that is going to improve your mixing or improve your overall sound or all that type of stuff. So I want to basically kind of clear the slate and let you know that you've already got everything that you need right now, in 99% of you at least. If you've got your digital audio workstation, if you have a QWERTY keyboard, and if you have a mouse, that's pretty much all you need. Sure, I have some other equipment that I use and stuff, but I still work inside the box quite a bit. I have some great plugins, but I still use Ableton's internal plugins probably about 80% of the time. And why would I do that? Well, basically because it's just faster for me to work with something that's built in that I already know works pretty darn good. Are there things that sound a little bit better? Totally. But does it make a difference between whether you have an average song or a really great tune? Not much. Not really much. It's those things are more like subtleties that other producers might notice. But in general, most people that are going to be listening to your song, it doesn't really matter what you're using. And the problem here is it really comes down to a creativity thing. Like, you guys feel that you'll be more creative if you have these new tools. And the problem is that most of the time that you get new tools, you use them for a little bit. You don't really learn them in depth at all. And then you're already after something else. It becomes kind of an addiction to just kind of accumulate new stuff. And the addiction is that your brain really doesn't want to create. So what you're trying to do is just find something that's fun to work with that you haven't worked with before. But that really has very little to do with songwriting, you know? So I think you really need to kind of change the attitude of thinking that you constantly need more stuff to get inspired. There's certainly tools that I have that are inspiring, that I prefer, and that sort of thing. But the thing about that is you're not going to really know your own preferences until you start finishing loads of songs. So if you're not already finishing songs, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you're using, because you don't even really know your own preferences and your own style and what tools are actually going to work best for that, right? So, I mean, here's the thing. There's no tool there's no silver bullet. There's no like, this tool solves everything for you and now you can like finish tons of music and everything goes super easy for you, right? That's really not the way it works. You're much better off saving your money, and instead of buying a plugin, instead of buying a new synth, instead of buying a new piece of hardware, you're much better off getting your creative habits in tune. And in order to do that, what I recommend is that you sit down every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes, and work on music every single day. I mean, if you work longer, great. But what I'm saying is you don't want to like work 2 hours one day and say, oh, well, tomorrow I get to take off because I worked extra today. Your brain doesn't work that way. Your brain needs to have repetition. Then it starts to prepare itself. Then it starts learning from the things that it did yesterday. And you start accumulating more and more information as you go. And this information will become automatic to you. So, you know, the first couple times you're going to run into some obstacles. But because you've been doing this so long, you're going to get past those obstacles eventually. You're going to learn how to get past them. And then they're not going to be obstacles anymore. You know, the things that made you want to just run away from the studio and just stop doing everything. By the third time you've solved that problem, your brain just is like ready to breeze right through it. Like it's not even a problem at all. You just carry on, you know. Maybe your issue is in arranging your songs or something. Maybe you're not great at arrangement, but you're really good at making 8 or 16 bar loops, which is the case with most people when they're starting out. And the fact of the matter is that once you have learned how to arrange your music, you're not going to run into that problem really anymore. Once you've kind of conquered that, it's not something that you're going to resist. And that's really all this is like you hit writer's block, or you get an inability to create because you're resisting something that's new to you. That's really all it is. So I completely recommend that you work on music at least 15 minutes a day. Set a timer, clear all the distractions, and just sit down for 15 minutes. And don't just like listen to your loop for 15 minutes. Don't just decide that you're gonna sit and watch YouTube videos for 15 minutes. Try to get from point A to point B. You don't gotta go from A to Z, but try to get yourself, you know, even 5% further on where you were at, right? That's gonna get you so much further. And it's just gonna push your brain and tell your brain, we start things and we finish things. That's gonna be really important. Now, the only time that I would recommend that you need a couple extra tools besides your computer, your keyboard, and a mouse, if you have a laptop, then you're pretty much all set as long as you got like a program like Ableton or whatever it is you want to use. But if you are recording like as a kind of more live instruments, or if you're recording external keyboards or whatever it is, guitar, vocals, then you might want to pick up a decent microphone. Like a SM58 would probably be a great mic for vocals and just universal. 57s are really good if you're actually recording like drum hits or things like that, because it can take a pretty solid attack sound. You know, and when you're recording, yeah, you want really good recording, so that matters. The other thing that matters if you're recording external gear into your computer is having a good sound card. And basically you just need at least one stereo in and one stereo out. Because in most cases you're just going to be recording one instrument at a time, right? If you're recording a drummer or something, then you know that you're going to need a decent mic setup, you know, several mics. And you're going to need a sound card that can handle all those inputs to record at the same time. So I would recommend that you work kind of inside the box if your budget can't really suit you recording properly your live instruments and stuff like that. But if that's your style, then you just got to kind of bite the bullet and get some decent tools. But for the rest of you, most of you recording like or creating electronic music and that sort of thing, I mean, everything you need is inside the box. Synth sounds, plugins, samples, you name it, right? You can do that all in the box, and all that quality is really high, so you don't really need extra tools for that. A lot of guys think that you need to have like an Ableton push or some sort of controller. You might feel more comfortable having like a keyboard of some sort, and that's cool if that's what you want. But you can get by just fine once again with just the QWERTY keyboard. The center row is like your white keys, and then some of the upper row below the numbers is going to be some of your black keys. And then you could use Z and X on your keyboard to move from octave to octave, higher or lower. And then you can raise or lower the velocity with the C and the V button. I've got like an image somewhere on this page that you can check out. but yeah, you don't really need controllers. I mean, I've got the push, and I do use it, but I don't use it for everything that most people think they use it for. Like I don't do all my recording with that so that I don't got to look at the computer. For me, it doesn't really work faster for me. I think once they give the push the ability to work in the arrangement window, I think things will kind of change a little bit and shift a little bit, and you'll be able to be more productive. But really, the push is more like a creative tool. It records into the session window. Then from the session window, you got to figure out how you're going to lay your song out in the arrangement window. So I tend to call the session window a procrastination window, because it's just an extra step between you getting to the arrangement window and then finally mixing your song. So yeah, although, the thing that I like to use my push for is I kind of use it as a keyboard. I can create different chord settings and stuff, and then that finger pattern will work all across the instead of keys, it's just the pads. And I'll also use it to play my drum sounds, like if I got a drum rack set up. It just makes it a little easier. But I could still do all that in my QWERTY keyboard, and I used to do that all the time, and you can still finish songs. So it's not that it's completely necessary, it's just a little bit more convenient. What I used to do is try to get myself to be able to do everything in a controller, and it actually made things harder and made things take more time. But I just felt, I don't know, cooler that I was using this piece of equipment instead of a keyboard and mouse, until I realized that the real goal is finishing more songs more quickly, more efficiently, and decided that whatever the fastest tool is what I'm going to use, right? So once again, most of what you're going to do in music production is going to be cut, copy, paste, delete, duplicate. It's not really complicated stuff, and since that's mostly what you're doing, your controllers and all your other equipment are more like subtle things that you can do. Don't get me wrong, it's great if you want to automate certain things, but for me, with automation, I tend to draw my automation in, you know what I mean? Because I can get a little bit more accurate. I might use the push like if I'm doing something experimental, like I'm just kind of playing with sound design, and just what I'll do is I'll record myself playing for like an hour or whatever, and just twist knobs here and there or whatever. Sometimes I'll kind of use my controller to do that, just because I can access more knobs at the same time. But really, at the end of the day, I used to do pretty much the same thing with keyboard and mouse, and still got great results. And sometimes I just can't be bothered to really set up the push and everything. I like my equipment to be really easy, plug and play. Let's just go. I don't want to have to step back and set something up in order to make it work and have the illusion that it's being more convenient, when it's really not. You get a new piece of equipment and you're spending all this time trying to get everything organized in it in order for you to be able to actually get some work done. I'd prefer just to get some work done, So, I mean, this whole post, this video, whatever, is really just all about the idea that you don't need more than you already have. And you won't really know what you need. You won't really know what you want until you've finished enough songs to really understand your style, and kind of figure out what other people might be using to get a certain result. Other than that, keep it simple, and work on your habit of making music instead of trying to overthink what sort of tools you're supposed to be using. Because at the end of the day, all the tools, built into most DAWs are going to be plenty good enough to get the results that you want, pretty quickly. Once again, everything else is really subtleties. And don't get me wrong, as a producer, I like to listen to songs that have those subtleties. But those subtleties kind of come, and you know how to use them better when you've actually written a lot of songs. Otherwise, those subtleties, I mean, you're not really going to be using those subtle tools correctly, in my opinion, or misusing them for something experimental. Let's see here. What else do I have to say for you guys? I think that's really all that I wanted to say. I would say just if you are considering getting new equipment, buy one thing at a time and learn it in depth, and make sure you're putting it to use, right? Don't buy a piece of equipment that you just want to play with and then you realize that you're not even going to use it. For example, I love like drum machines and some of the different things that Roland's been putting out, but I'm not going to buy it because I know at the end of the day, having a piece of equipment that I've got to plug in physically and record, and there might be a little extra digital noise going on, that it's going to end up just taking me a lot more time than just programming my drums inside the box now, you know? So since I'm aware of that and I know how I work, I know that as cool as that piece of equipment would be to play and as inspiring as it might be, once I get to the point of recording, it's not going to seem as inspiring to me personally. You know, for you, that might be something that you're all set up and wanting to do. But you just need to be really honest with yourself about the piece of equipment. You want to learn it deep, and you only want to buy one piece of equipment at a time. You don't just want to like collect a bunch of stuff. I remember back when I was DJing, I had bought like 3 different controllers and I wanted to use all of them. And I think I just liked the idea that it looked complex to have all these buttons around me that all work differently. And it was just complete overwhelm. It didn't help me really at all. So what I had to do is wipe everything clear. You know, basically what I did, okay, I had all this equipment that I'd bought. I decided I'm going to remove it all and I'm going to DJ without any of them. And then as I'm DJing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take note of things that I would like to do that I'm not capable of doing. If I'm already capable of doing it with the equipment I have, then I know that I don't need a piece of equipment to do that. So only when I find some extra thing that I would like to do, I got to go, I'd really like to do this in my set and I can't do it right now. What's the best way to do that? And then by taking those notes, I just add that piece of equipment that will do these couple things. Instead of my original approach, which was buy a bunch of equipment that I think is cool and try to figure out things to make it do. That's kind of pointless, you know? So once again, we come back to music production and it's really the same thing. Just don't go like hog wild buying a bunch of plugins or synths or hardware or whatever, because you're not really going to know how it fits into your own personal style anyway. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. I hope that you guys are inspired to at least start sitting down at least 15 minutes every day and moving yourself forward. And once again, try to make that 15 minutes like actual work in your song. Not learning, not reading, not studying up on things, not going into forums, actually working in your DAW. And if you get stuck, then set another timer for like 10 minutes. Use Google, try to find the answer. Once that alarm goes off, you're back into your DAW and you're working through whatever the problem is. It'll just keep you from a lot of distractions. Have a great Saturday. Take care, guys.